We've got just 2 weeks left in the regular season, and I think there's going to be plenty of drama on Selection Sunday. I think it probably comes down to the final spot. That's where you're going to see the drama. I think everything else is going to be pretty much set when the conference championship games are complete. But I think there's going to be debate with several teams making a case for that final spot. So let's just get into the predictions here. We're going to start with the number one overall seed. I have not made a change here. I'm sticking with Ohio State. I think this has been the best team in the country all year. I think they're going to beat Michigan. Maybe I'm wrong here, but it just feels like, and I know we felt like that in the past, but it just feels like Ohio State's going to get it done this year. And the game is on the road. It's again, Michigan has had their number, so I wouldn't shock me if the Wolverines pulled off a win there, but I think Ohio State wins, and I think they win the Big Ten championship. If they win the Big Ten championship but lose to Michigan, which I don't know how the tiebreakers would fall. I don't even know if they go to the Big Ten championship, but if that did happen, they're probably at the 2 spot. The number 2 spot for me though is Georgia. So I don't want to give away my other predictions, but I do have Georgia making it into the SEC championship and winning that game. Again, I don't want to give away the rest of my predictions, but I'll just tell you that's where I've got the Bulldogs. And this team's playing really good football. The last couple of games, it seems like they've finally put it together. We've seen it at times this year. Like, there are times when Georgia has looked like the best team in the country, but it's been so inconsistent. It seems like they maybe are finally starting to put it all together. We'll see if they can get past Georgia Tech, and if they do make it to the SEC championship, see if they do win that game. Number 3 seed Indiana. I think the Hoosiers finished 12-0, lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Pretty much, I mean, it would be a shock if they're not 12-0. So they're going to be the Big Ten championship if Michigan does beat Ohio State. Again, I don't know for sure who gets in that scenario. It's going to come down to tiebreakers. What happens with Oregon? Are they sitting there with just one loss? Again, a lot of question marks there. And then I've got Texas A&M at number 4. I think they do make the SEC championship, but they lose to Georgia. Right now, I'm going with the Aggies over Texas. That may change next week. That's a tough one to predict. Again, they're playing on the road. And the thing about Texas A&M is, this was kind of pointed out last week, they really have only played the bottom teams in the SEC. So it's yet to be seen how they're going to play against some of the top teams in this conference. Texas might be the best SEC team they played this year. Maybe I'm forgetting the game or something, but that's gonna be a fun one on Friday night. Can't wait to see what happens there. So let's go to the rest of the teams. Number 5, I'm going Texas Tech. I think the Red Raiders win the Big 12 championship game over BYU. I think BYU does win this weekend, and we see a rematch of that game. Number 7 is Oregon. I think I've gotten out of place here a little bit, but yeah, the Ducks at number 7. I think Oregon wins out. I think they beat USC. I think they beat Washington, and they finish right there at number 7. Number 6 is Ole Miss. I actually only got those out of order. Yeah, I think the Rebels. It'll be interesting to see if Oregon looks really impressive and they close out with a win over USC and then a win over Washington. Is that going to be enough for them to possibly jump ahead of Ole Miss? That's definitely something worth looking at there. I think they probably stay in this order, though. I don't think that's going to be enough for them to jump ahead, but maybe. We'll see. We know this committee has a recency bias, so it does maybe depend on how well Oregon looks in those games. If they're dominant, it wouldn't shock me if the Ducks moved up potentially to number 6. Number 8 is going to be Oklahoma. I think the Sooners take care of Missouri this weekend. They do have to play LSU. Could be a bit of a tricky game there to close things out. LSU, a talented team, but they haven't looked great this year. I think the Sooners get it done, though. They win those 2 games, and they finish 10-2. And yes, Oklahoma in the college football playoff. They will be hosting Notre Dame. So the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, I think they close out, finish 10-2. It would be very surprising if they don't. They're already pretty solidly in the college football playoff. I think there are some scenarios where Notre Dame does get left out, and it would take some weird things happening. It would take, for one thing, Miami looking really, really impressive in their final couple of games, and maybe, you know, it comes back to that head-to-head, and somehow Miami jumps ahead of Notre Dame, or, you know, some other things could possibly happen behind Notre Dame, where some teams could maybe jump in. Like, what if USC beats Oregon? Does USC? Probably not, because Notre Dame beat them head-to-head. So, yeah, it feels like Notre Dame is in. It would take a whole lot happening. But I got them at 9. Number 10, BYU. So here is where the controversy, I think, is going to come. I'll give you 11 and 12, which is obviously my ACC champ and the Group of 5 team. All right, so in my scenario, BYU loses to Texas Tech. They finish with 2 losses. Right now, they're 1 spot ahead of Utah. Do they fall behind Utah? That's something to look at, but the head-to-head does, again, go to BYU. Plus, you got to look at the fact that BYU, the committee said they're not going to penalize teams for losing in conference championship games. And then the other team is Miami. Does Miami look good enough to possibly jump ahead of Notre Dame up to number 9? Notre Dame drops to number 10. Like, that is a scenario that could play out. That's really what I'm looking at now. If Vanderbilt beats Tennessee, could Vandy get there? You notice I've got no Alabama. I know people are going to probably come after me for this, but I actually think Alabama might lose the Iron Bowl. It feels like it's going to be one of those games. Maybe I'm wrong there, and I'll think about it more before we get to next week. But as of this week, that's where my prediction is for that game. So that's why I don't have Alabama in here. Another question will be if Alabama does win that game, but they lose in the SEC championship, say to Texas A&M, where does Alabama fall in that scenario? You've got possibly a 3-loss Alabama, a 2-loss BYU, a 2-loss Utah. Like, I don't. I'm telling you, there's going to be, I think, a lot of debate for that final spot. And the biggest thing is Miami. If Miami can win, like I said, and look impressive in their final games, I really think there's a chance that Miami winds up jumping all the way up ahead of Notre Dame. If you've noticed, they've been slowly creeping Miami up. Despite the teams ahead of them not losing, and it feels like they're maybe positioning them to possibly jump them ahead of Notre Dame. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, they got to win their final 2 games, and I think they've got to look really impressive. If they play a close game against Pitt when Notre Dame just blew them out, I don't see any chance Miami jumps the Irish. All right, number 11, I'm sticking with SMU. I've had them now for a couple of weeks. I think they went out. I think they probably play Georgia Tech. Man, I don't know. This ACC is tough to predict. And also, we're going to have tiebreakers. Potentially, SMU may win out and not even get to the ACC championship. Again, these tiebreakers are crazy. I think when I looked at this before, though, they were in pretty good shape. I think Georgia Tech's in good shape and SMU's in good shape. So we might see those 2 teams. Of course, if Pitt beats Georgia Tech, then Georgia Tech won't be there. Maybe it's Pitt and SMU, or maybe it's Virginia. I know if we go by schedule, it seems like Virginia has the easiest schedule of these teams. So it kind of feels like Virginia probably will not be there in this. If we get a 3-way tie or even a 4-way tie. Well, I guess we can't get a 4-way. So if we get a 3-way tie. So SMU at number 11. And then I'm going with Tulane. I think Tulane's your Group of 5 representative coming in at number 12. Again, the main purpose of this video is to show you my predictions for the 12 teams. We're going to run through the games. And again, I didn't do this on purpose, but it came out just chalk. I think Oklahoma at home, that would be enough for them to beat Notre Dame. Texas Tech beating Tulane. Then we got Ole Miss, SMU. Now, if Lane Kiffin leaves, there could be some distractions there. Maybe the Rebels lose. Maybe SMU pulls off the shocker. And again, I for some reason went out of order here. But Oregon, first, before we get to Ole Miss, Oregon, I think they do beat BYU at home, and then Ole Miss advances as well. So this is your final 8. I think Ohio State at home, too much for Oklahoma. Or not at home, but in the Rose Bowl. I think that defense, that would be a great game. 2 really good defenses going at it. But I'm going Buckeyes. A&M versus Texas Tech. This one is a tough one, but I think the Aggies a little bit better offensively, a little bit more balance on all. I don't know. I mean, Texas Tech is good on all. That would be a great game. Texas Tech is really underrated. This is a team that I believe could possibly win a couple of games in the playoff. I really think that's possible. So I'm going to go right now, though, with the Aggies. Georgia, Oregon. I think Oregon is a team to watch out for, a team that could maybe even make a run at a national championship. But I'm going to go Georgia just because they've been really hot lately. and I think Indiana beats Ole Miss. So again, we're going chalk here. Ohio State, Georgia. I'm sticking with Ohio State, team that I've had now for several weeks to win the national championship. No reason to change that prediction as of right now. So those are my updated college football playoff predictions. Give me your predictions down in the comments below.